Welcome to Your Region This Week. I'm Carla Fitzsimmons, and Andy is off this week. In this episode, the 22nd annual CAA Worst Roads campaign launches across the province, where road users can have their say. AI is changing the jobs of the future, and how the Kitchener Rangers playoff games will benefit Camino well-being and mental health. But first, here's a look at the headlines. The region of Waterloo Public Health confirms 2 more cases of measles. This comes after the first local case was reported last Friday. Public Health is working to identify people who may have been exposed to the disease on Friday, March 21st. PharmaSave campus at 170 University Road West in Waterloo between the time of 11:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Shoppers Drug Mart at 50 Weber Street North in Waterloo between the times of 12:15 to 2:30 p.m. Anyone who may have been exposed at those locations or falls into the following categories: immunocompromised, pregnant, or anyone who was born in or after 1970 who is unvaccinated or only has had 1 dose of measles vaccine should contact Public Health. The chair of Waterloo Catholic District School Board has stepped down. The announcement was posted online on Wednesday afternoon stating that Robert Sikora has stepped down from his role as chair, effective immediately. Sikora will remain as a trustee. Earlier this week, hundreds gathered at the Waterloo Catholic District School Board meeting to protest a plan to ban pride flags at all schools. The motion was put forth arguing that only Ontario and Canadian flags should be allowed on flagpoles or be seen inside the schools because those flags represent everyone. A final vote on this motion is not expected until April 28th. A bylaw banning encampments in Guelph has been amended to include certain public spaces and parks near schools. The amendment, motioned by Mayor Cam Guthrie, asks to change the language of sensitive public spaces in the bylaw to add the line of any public spaces that shares a property line with a school or childcare center. The original bylaw was passed by council last year, and it banned encampments in areas like St. George's Square and Market Square. U.S. President Donald Trump announced 25% tariffs on all vehicles not made in the U.S. As the tariff threats and concerns from the U.S. continue to create uncertainty here at home, popular tourist communities are preparing for the influx of American travelers. Stratford Mayor Martin Ritzma shares his thoughts on the matter.
And that's top of mind for a lot of individuals. We are a tourist town, and equally we are a manufacturing town that wants to maintain a connection with our American sister cities, that are in the industry as well. So it is paramount. We welcome 1.7 million visitors a year to Stratford. That's an amazing number. 500,000 plus of those are our friends from the United States of America. And they come, and the beautiful part about our American friends, they tend to come, stay longer, and as a result of staying longer, they spend more money. I ran into a group of ladies, 5 ladies from Virginia last year. They were staying for a full week in Stratford and just living every aspect of Stratford possible and spending their dollars. So I can't, I've had a lot of calls, and I can't stress this enough. I don't think we want to get to a point where we're going to take down flags at this point, because I know it's emotions that are tying us up right now. We're angry. We're disappointed with one person in particular and a small group of people. We're not angry at our American friends.
The City of Waterloo has been recognized as a top-performing Housing Accelerator Fund community, receiving an additional $1.3 million in Housing Accelerator Fund support to address housing affordability and supply challenges. To be considered a top performer, communities had to have met their unit forecasts and deliver on their action plan commitments. Flags are at half-mast at City of Cambridge facilities to honor Erwin Nelson, a former mayor who has passed away. Nelson died on March 22nd at the age of 93. He was one of the last surviving members of Cambridge's very first city council. Nelson represented Ward 14, served as a regional councillor, and a Cambridge mayor in the 1970s. A reminder, nominations are open for this year's KW Oktoberfest Rogers Women of the Year.
We don't need to fake it till we make it. We are it.
This year marks 50 years of honoring women in our community. There are 12 categories, including arts and culture, community service, and skilled trades. You still have time to make your nominations. The deadline for the nominations is this Monday on March 31st at 4 p.m. Coming up, where the rubber meets the road. Or is the road filled with potholes? Is it congested? It's that time of year to have your voice heard.
Hey folks, it's me, Giovanni Pettiti, the host of Not Tonight. It's the new late night talk show right here on Rogers TV. We got fabulous guests, a lot of laughs. It's just like the Jimmy Kimmel Show. If you order the Jimmy Kimmel Show on Wish. So join me Sunday at 10 o'clock right here on Rogers TV. Nice.
Sports is life. It's clear cut. Everything's out in the open. There's nowhere to hide. I had to prove myself more than anyone else.
You must be so proud of your son. He's gonna go pro. The sky's the limit.
There's always a winner and a loser.
You cannot reach the sky in broken cleats.
Of course, I always want to be the winner. And I did reach the sky.
Norman Quam, the first Chinese-Canadian professional football player, still holds records to this day. He retired from the sport in 1960 and later became Lieutenant Governor of Alberta.
The regulars, the guys who keep this place in business. Last week, they had something to celebrate. Jason had just finished university. So they toasted his profs, his TAs, his old roommates. Well, they toasted just about everyone. But I worry about and take care of my guys. So even when I know they're not driving, sometimes that means bringing them a little surprise. And then they had a drink to me.
Brought to you by Smart Serve Ontario and Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
Welcome back. With the ever-changing world of technology, including the use of artificial intelligence, it's causing job uncertainty, but it's also creating opportunities. That's according to a new report.
It's not as prominent as, say, we're maybe hearing about globally, but that's changing quite quickly, we're hearing. And so we anticipate that within a year, within 2 years, we'll see that number grows pretty significantly. And with that, we're seeing that there's an increase in what skills employers are looking for, because a lot of these AI tools and the automation software that's being brought into our local businesses require a unique set of skills to operate and run some of these machines and technological tools. So we still need lots of intelligent, skilled people in the labor market. So we're just seeing a difference in how much that is prioritized by employers. And so we're advocating for students and individuals of all ages to prioritize continuous learning and developing skill sets that'll help them meet these changing needs of employers. And it doesn't necessarily need to be that you know everything there is to know. I think what's more important to employers is an aptitude for learning. So you want to to be able to demonstrate that you can learn, you're wanting to learn, and that you're interested in continuously developing your skills. And then beyond that, just being willing to learn on your own independently, and seek out resources that are available to you to build your digital literacy. And there's loads of resources on the internet to try and build your skill sets. And there's so many different niches. So there's lots of opportunity. And I think the future of work will be one where people succeed when they're able to find opportunities to grow their skills and contribute in unique and meaningful ways to their communities. The Workforce Planning Board of Grand Erie is one of 25 different workforce planning boards across Ontario that support workforce development. And we do this through researching what issues are significantly affecting employers, employees, and job seekers. And then we advocate for policies, we try and build partnerships, and we build programs to try and support bridging some of those gaps that we identify through a lot of the research that we've conducted.
CAA launches its Worst Roads campaign, and nominations are now open.
The CAA Worst Roads campaign is one of our biggest campaigns that we do throughout the year, and it serves as an opportunity to for folks to nominate a road that tends to frustrate them and have their voice heard. We actually did a research survey earlier this year, and we found that 85% of the respondents are concerned about the state of their roads, which is why we continue to use this campaign as an opportunity to show different levels of government about the frustrations that road users face on a day-to-day basis. We have seen a growing trend in nominations. We had about 2,000 roads nominated last year, over 145 municipalities. So the campaign has definitely spread out to different communities, and we've seen multiple examples of communities actually coming together to nominate a road that tends to frustrate them. Well, we've had multiple examples of governments respond to the campaign by announcing infrastructure projects. Just off the top of my head, Guelph Area 2 York Road took the #1 spot on the Western Regional list, and they're right now announced a large-scale infrastructure project to repave some of that road, which is expected to be completed in 2026. We want to use this campaign as a platform to have those conversations and make road maintenance more of a priority. Folks can go to caaworstroads.com and nominate a road of their choosing. You can select the road, the intersection or the section of the road that you want to nominate, and then you have a variety of issues to choose from potholes, poor road maintenance, cycling and pedestrian infrastructure concerns, or even traffic congestion. One of the top issues in the Kitchener-Waterloo area was lack of cycling infrastructure, but we know that the region is investing heavily in cycling infrastructure improvements, and some of the roads, one of the main ones that stand out is Iron Needles Boulevard, which made the regional list over the last 2 years. But we do know that municipalities are making it a priority, and that they're continuing to invest in the roads, and we want to use this campaign as an opportunity to give them a snapshot on what their constituents are thinking. Well, once we do our reveal, which will be happening in a few months, we then reach out to councillors, mayors who have a worst road in their ward or in their jurisdiction. And they tend to be quite receptive, and we've had some good conversations with them. And we know that road infrastructure continues to remain a priority. They are also, hearing it from their end as well. But what we noticed was, based off of previous surveys, that people are venting about the state of their roads to their friends, coworkers, but not necessarily towards their municipal officials, which is why we kind of want the Worst Roads campaign to be as another opportunity to have their voice heard.
Still with roads, a coalition of Ontario's top civil infrastructure leaders and engineers is advocating for municipalities to consider using recycled crushed aggregates.
Recycled crushed aggregate is exactly as it sounds. It's reclaimed asphalt or concrete from existing roads, structures, sidewalks, bike lanes, whatever the case might be, that is actually taken as part of the demolition process. It's taken to a recycling depot where it is screened, crushed, processed, tested, and then used for new construction projects. Out of all of the aggregate use in Ontario, which is about 180 million tons, only about 7% currently is recycled. And that a big portion of that is actually the Ontario Ministry of Transportation. So the material is and has been used in the construction and maintenance of our 400 series highways, dating back to probably the 1970s or 60s. And what we're really trying to do here is make the big push material can be used there. And the reason for that is because municipalities own and manage more road transportation network than the provincial and federal governments combined. So the impact is a lot greater, both in terms of cost savings and carbon emission reductions. And I will give credit where credit is due. The region of Waterloo is actually one of the better municipalities that has been using recycled for, I believe, since the 1990s. And what's really amazing at that point there is, I believe by the region's own estimate, it's about $1 million that the region saves every year as part of their capital delivery project, just by switching to recycled and incorporating that in their projects. But unfortunately, other municipalities don't follow that example. And the issue really comes that there are provincial guidelines that dictate how much recycled product can be used in the construction of roads and other capital projects, but municipalities have their own jurisdiction on changing those policies. Unfortunately, they do, and I think some of them are outdated, but that's where the problem lies. Yeah, we've really kicked it up a notch starting earlier this year in January, and it really came out of the industry. So even though the Toronto and Area Road Builders Association is leading this fight, it's really an industry-wide support. So we have the Ontario Sandstone and Gravel Association that represents the primary aggregate production. You would think that they would be opposed to that, but they're actually on board as well. And there's a good reason for that. It's really to extend the life of their existing pits and quarries and make the process more sustainable. We have Good Roads that represents the municipal folks across Ontario, Concrete Ontario, RCCAO, who's leading the CAA Worst Roads campaign as well. They're an industry partner there. So the list goes on and on, where we have about 9 industry associations that represent the industry that are aligned on this one issue. And we really just need governments to allow us to move this forward.
After a night out with your friends, there's always options for getting home safely. You could call your BFF, your mom or dad, whoever you can count on for a safe ride home. You could call your favorite cab company or 1-888 taxi guy. Or you could use the Arrive Alive smartphone app to help you choose your ride. Be it a friend, transit, or taxi, getting home safely is app easy. Now available for iOS and Android devices. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
Sundays for Pairs is a service that we believe will help you discover more of God's promises and purpose for your life. A reminder that God is for you. Courtesy of Pairs Community Church. Join us every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. on Rogers TV to be encouraged and pointed towards hope.
On Rogers TV.
Personal finance show that dares to ask those money questions you've always wanted to. Join Mike Bregueth when he talks with experts on all aspects of money. Money Matters with Mike Bregueth, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Steve.
In sports, former Jacob Hespler and Cambridge Lions football star Chase Judge is heading to Rhode Island to play Ivy League football in the fall. Take a look.
Hi everyone, my name is Anthony Majacomo. I'm the head football coach and athletic director here at Jacob Hespler, and we're here with Chase Judge today as he signs his letter of intent with Brown University. Chase is a former Hawk who's a two-time officer participant here in football, medalist with track, and a relay champion at the officer level.
The word that comes to mind is just gratitude and being thankful for everyone that helped me get to the point to where I am today with Jacob Hespler, Coach Magic, Coach Whitey, Coach Gordo, even with the Lions, Coach Frank, Coach Fergus, Yonkis, as well as Coach Scotto. I'm just very grateful for them helping me set the foundation for my success, especially early on with Coach Frank, Coach Fergus, teaching me like morals within my own life and things like that has definitely helped me get to where I am today. I think back to the time during COVID when a lot of people use that as an excuse to not work out, go for runs, anything like that. I remember a brand new complex being built and my dad would bring me behind the complex to this pavement road and I would run 100-meter sprints in there while everyone was at home doing whatever. And I think the little things like that have helped me to get to the point where I am today. I picked Brown because of the brotherhood. When I went on my official visit during December, it would have been. Sort of seeing how the team works, meeting the coaches again. I really like Coach Jackson, our DB coach there. He's fantastic. I can't wait to be a part of his program, as well as Coach Perry. Had a one-on-one meeting with him. Loved everything that he's about, all his team goals and everything about it. I think the academics play a huge part in it. Being able to go to a school like Brown, an Ivy League school, it's an amazing opportunity.
We're always proud of our kids, but when you can get to an Ivy League school like Brown, that means academically you're doing something that's just as special as Chase has done on the field and on the track. We couldn't be happier for him. Game changer. Lightning fast, and the results for the speed really showed in the track season. Like there's football fast and there's track fast, and Chase was track fast, who happened to be a football player, and we were lucky to have him.
Still ahead, a community fundraising initiative that's reaching out to Camino well-being and mental health. Details after the break.
Hey everybody, it's Sean Ferfaro reminding you to tune in every Friday night at 6:30 for This Week in Rangers Nation. I'm going to have exclusive highlights and interviews with your Rangers players. I'm going to have Rangers alumni. We're going to talk to some of the coaches, and because it's me, we're going to have a little bit of fun as well. Every Friday at 6:30, everything you want to know here in our town. It's This Week in Rangers Nation right here on Rogers TV.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive, and the buses have stopped running. You could always call your girlfriend. Or maybe your roommate? What about your best friend? You could just dial 1-888-TAXI-GUY or use the Taxi Guy app. The call and the app are free, and they both connect you to a local cab company to bring you home safely. Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
As I looked upon the battlefield in front of me, a German star shell lit up the desolate landscape. I watched as a bullet smashed through the bridge of my nose and left me to the mercy of the darkness. I worried I would be dependent on others for the rest of my life. But Sir Arthur Pearson and the staff of St. Dunstan's had other plans. With their help, I knew I could be self-reliant, and I wanted to bring this idea home to Canada. I wanted Canadians to know that we could hold jobs, that we could contribute, that regardless of sight, all would read, that we, the blind, would shape our own lives, our own destiny.
Blinded by a sniper's bullet in 1915, Edwin A. Baker went on to co-found the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, shaping a path forward for the blind across Canada for generations to come.
finally for us, it's playoff season in the OHL. And with every victory the Kitchener Rangers have, Camino well-being and mental health benefit from the Rangers Reach 50/50 draw.
Well, Rangers Reach Foundation does so many great things for our community with their 50/50 draws. And every once in a while, they do a bonus draw. And so this year, they reached out to us and asked Camino to be the agency that would receive the 50% of the proceeds from the playoff bonus draw, which means that all the time that the Rangers are playing in the playoffs, people will have an opportunity to support Camino. They can buy a ticket for a regular 50/50 draw, and then they have the opportunity to up that and buy a ticket to support Camino as well. So we're hoping that the Rangers do incredibly well in the playoffs, because the 50/50 draw runs the entire reign of the playoffs, and Camino will be the recipient of those funds. Camino is a well-being and mental health organization. Last year we served 18,000 people almost in Waterloo Region, and we support people with everything from well-being supports like food and education supports and things that, even for newcomers who are settling in our community who have seen really traumatic things, we support that. And then we support people who need counseling services. We have a department that really works with families to help them be well and ensures that children get the special supports that they need. And we have programs for young parents as well. The continuum is so broad with Camino. It's hard to put it in one statement, but I think our vision says it all. Like at Camino, we're striving for a community where all people thrive. We actually, last year, we had a budget that relied more than $3 million on donations. So people are surprised when they find out that mental health services are sometimes not funded and have to be subsidized with donations. And so we're out there all the time trying to make sure that we raise money so that we can serve everyone, and it doesn't matter if you have funds to pay for them or not. And our counseling services in particular always rely on subsidies, and we're doing everything that we can to make sure that people are seen quickly. This year, we opened up every day, Monday to Friday, quick access service. So anyone in the community can walk in or come into a Camino location at Queen Street or Charles and get an immediate support. And often people aren't able to pay for that. And we will make sure that everyone gets seen and gets the help they need.
And that's our show for this edition of Your Region This Week. Thanks for watching. I'm Carla Fitzsimmons, and we'll see you next time.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
You called us in, meaning you suspect foul play. We have nothing to hide.
How do we know that this sex scandal is real?
It was completely consensual.
Do you remember all of your cases, Detective Braff?
Only the ones that keep me up at night.
This is fraud on a massive scale.
I didn't do anything.
Sit down. You'll need a good lawyer to prove it.
Well, we have one, and he's excited to meet you. You might have yourself a murder case.
When I was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, I was deteriorating in front of everybody.
All my life I lived with sickle cell. I went through a tragic crisis that